Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to fight with you again. Because a vision softly creeping left its deed while I was sleeping. And the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the pledge of For You. Welcome, Classic Crew, to a journal report on my For You pledge to slay every Fatalis in this game. We are in the end game. We have found Black Fatalis. Only 2 Fatalises remain. The proper Crimson one, which is hidden behind 10 scrolls, and the elusive White Fatalis, which I've actually unlocked, but I've been told to save him for last. Here we are, we're in the end game. We're maybe 1 to 2 journals away from finishing this pledge. Join me as I share my tale of how Black Fatalis compares to Monster Hunter World's Fatalis. But before that, we gotta cover all of the side activities, starting with last time on Hey Jay. I was fighting Gog. I died to Gog. I needed some fuel for my demolisher to blow up Gog. And so that's what we did. I went straight to the Wyceum dude, or the shopkeeper, finished some village requests for him, and that unlocked the Wyceum's fully upgraded catalog of things. We can now carry 2 stones with us, the Y stones, which, why stones? They're so dumb. I really don't like the Y stones. I don't like the mechanic of Y stones. I think that they are as silly as some people claim the world mechanic of clutch clawing is. At least with clutch claw, you can clutch claw to your heart's desire, and you can soften those monsters as often as you want. With these Y stones, they become essential in the fight for Apex against Apex monsters, in which at one point you need to actually use one if you want to actually not bounce off the Apex. But there's a cooldown on the stone, which means the fight while your stone is cooling down is essentially bonkers. It's a dumb mechanic. I don't like it. So I got that, and more importantly though, I can now buy the fuel for my demolisher in Dendorma's defense arena, which is a really cool arena that I'm starting to see a lot of here in Endgame as I am fighting all sorts of Gogs, all sorts of emergency quests where there's just like an intruder monster that's random. Sometimes it's Kushala, sometimes it's Camelios, sometimes it's Diostra. Either way, you gotta kill everything that shows up there. So I got that, went back into the Gog fight with multiplayer this time, and this time it happened so fast. It was really fun to actually do it as a team. Some people just going at it while other people are like loading the cannonballs on the thing, and you're trying to like trigger the Dragonator's triggered. Okay, now get a mount's triggered. All right, now throw the cannonballs. It just synchronizes so much better. So the Gog fight remains one of my favorite siege fights. If actually, hands down, this is not even a debate. It is the best siege fight. We need more Gog fights. So the next Monster Hunter Wilds, you need to have a Gog type of fight because it is beautiful. So with Gog out of the way, we have now finished G3 and we have unlocked the proper endgame of Monster Hunter 4U, where now the his immenseness gives you a scroll that you can't read. You have to kill monsters so that you can unlock what the scroll means, and when you unlock the scroll, you get to fight a new difficult monster. Now, I have learned that there are 11 scrolls to unlock, each progressively harder to unlock. And when I say harder, I mean it's more of a time sink because the amount of text on the scroll increases. The first one is a line. By the time you get to the 10th one, I heard it's like 5 lines of code. And every time you slay an Elder Dragon or an endgame monster, you get anywhere from about 2 to 4 characters on the scroll. So each scroll is easy like 5-6 fights to unlock, which can take quite a while when you're fighting endgame monsters. So I got the first scroll, I unlocked it, and that gave us Molten Tigrex, G-rank Molten Tigrex. Killed these things. I'm at this point, I'm playing in multiplayer. I think soloing endgame Monster Hunter 4U, while doable, I just don't think it's a fun experience. 3U, I kept to the pledge of slaying all monsters once at least solo, and for the most part, I think I've done the same here in 4U, with the exception if the monster is a siege fight. That's the only time where I'm like, I tried them solo, but I'm like, if it's meant for multiplayer, I will bring friends and I'll do it. the way it was intended and actually have fun with it. My whole goal with experimenting with these Monster Hunter games and playing them is not to hurt myself, but it's actually to enjoy them and appreciate them for the way that they were intended to be designed. These pledges just make sure I experience that and don't give up. So that's why we're doing all this. So Molten Tigrex, I've unlocked 4 scrolls so far. The next one is a Cantor. He died. Then Apex Seregios. That was a pain. He died. Also multiplayer. And finally, I've unlocked Chaotic Gore, but I haven't defeated him yet. I've just unlocked him. I have heard that my final Fatalis, the only one I don't have access to right now, which is a Crimson Fatalis, is hidden behind the 10th scroll. And that, my friends, is the biggest limiter in me completing my pledge right now. I can go and fight White Fatalis right now. I can go and fight the event Crimson Fatalis, which we'll also talk about soon. But this whole hidden, that's the one I want to attempt to solo, is the one behind the 10th scroll. So I just got to do that. And the bigger challenge now is I've checked marked all of my G3 quests, like all the endgame quests I've done at least once. So I'm inviting the community at this point in multiplayer to like, oh, let's do quests for other people. Let's help each other out. And I think that there's something, a mentality that's happened where everybody's trying to one up each other and like, this is the hardest quest. No, this is the hardest quest. And what this resulted in is an evening of failed quests after failed quests, because everybody's bringing their hardest quest to the table and we're failing. Whether I'm dying, other people are dying, we're collectively dying. There's one fight, Teostra did his supernova, everybody died except for your boy Hey Jay, because I know how to dodge. All of that to say, a night of failure really sets me back in my progress, because I barely unlocked a scroll that night because all of that dying, all of that time sink was for nothing besides the power of friendship that we made along the way. I had to start like enforcing rules of banning certain quests. Like there's one quest we did, someone brought it, it's called Naked and Afraid, and it sounds about as bad as it sounds. You're in the arena with an Apex Rajang, and you're not allowed to wear any armor. So you're in there with your weapon, and you better hope this monkey doesn't clap any part of your body. Because there's a part where his laser that comes out of his mouth, he doesn't give any signal of, I'm going to shoot here, I'm going to shoot here. He's just like, angry monkey, bam, you're dead. And that's just what happens. You can't do anything unless you Superman dive. That's pretty much the only way you can guarantee dodging that. So I'm like, that's not fun. I just don't want to do those things anymore. Can we just like have fun, slay monsters, unlock scrolls, progress, and get me to my pledge so I can go pledge complete at the end of this? Other things I've done, I'm also dabbling in a few village rank monster quests that are available. One is a white monoblos, which I think is only accessible through the village quests. So I did that one, and he's a lot faster than your regular monoblos. Doesn't hit as hard as I thought, but it could also be that I'm decked out in endgame armor at this point. He was very comfy. I broke his horn, and he telegraphs a lot. He's basically like a Diablos, but more boring. So he has nothing on like Black Diablos either. Just big disappointment. All of this led to me getting to Hunter rank 70, which has been one of my goals this whole time. So once you hit Hunter rank 70, you will finally unlock Black Fatalis in the hub. And so I got to take him on, and I went solo, of course, and I told everyone was saying, oh, you got this. Oh, this is going to be so easy. You're in full G rank armor. And I'm like, oh, well, this is a high rank Fatalis. I guess this will be easier. All right, let's go. This ain't going to be as bad as I thought. What was that? I get in there, and anytime Fatalis pretty much tickles me or looks at me, half my health magically disappears. I was like, how the heck are you guys telling me this is intended for high rank? I'm in full endgame G rank armor here, but still, he can two-shot me very easily. So this is not an easy fight. Sorry, bros. And it took me 18 minutes to finish this fight. And that is with it was either fully or almost fully upgraded charge blade. So whatever people say about what the intended difficulty of this fight is, I felt I was at the right equipment and everything to take this on, because anything less would have been absolutely garbage. So that was my first impression. Wow, he hits hard. He gets a really cool intro scene, which isn't quite as, epic as World, but this is a 3DS game. I'm not going to expect World level cutscenes or anything. I do like how it's the same arena. It's Castle Schrade or Schrad or whatever. And as I was going around, I was like, oh, this kind of looks familiar. And then people are like, yeah, remember where the Dragonator was in Monster Hunter World? It's there here too. I'm like, I know exactly where that is. I went up like the stairs. I was like, here's the Dragonator, bonk, and hit Fatalis. Unfortunately, no proof of a hero triggered. You just get the same fighting song that you get in any other monster, so it's not even special. Later I'll talk about Crimson Fatalis. He actually gets a really dramatic score and music, which is terrifying. Black Fatalis, they don't give him anything. I couldn't use most of the artillery because it doesn't move. There's a cannon that's stationary, so Fatalis has to be in a very specific spot to shoot him. So the only thing I really used was the Dragonator once, and the rest of the time I'm just sticking to his chest, and I'm just unloading Aids and Saids. No, I didn't unload Saids, but for the most part, that's all I had to do. And he had 3 to 4 attacks. He had a swipe, which got me almost all the time. And the one that hurt me the most is when he actually goes on all 4 legs, because I'm usually fighting in front of his chest. If I don't see the tail that he's coming down, I don't move and I get squished by him, and it hurts a lot. With that said, Black Fatalis is slayed. I beat him after 18 minutes. And then there was one other Black Fatalis in the game. He's available as an event quest in G rank. I had just done the Hunter rank 70 and I felt that was a good challenge. I felt I understood the fight and everything. The G rank one did not offer anything different other than buffed up attack, buffed up defense. So I'm like, let's bring in multiplayer. Let's just do this. And we did it. Didn't take long. And there was really nothing noteworthy about it other than when you mount Fatalis, when someone else mounts Fatalis, and he turns, his tail is so long, it's pretty much a whole different, it's a whole new attack. I got hit so much because someone else mounted Fatalis, and I got hit by the tail because I wasn't far enough away from him. So that's my experience with Fatalis. Honestly, compared to the other boss level monsters in 4U, which there are a lot of here, he's not that memorable and he's not that special, and it's a little bit disappointing. Crimson, however, on the other hand, there's more to say there, and White Fatalis, I know nothing about him yet. I don't know, though, right now what to expect in terms of the fight. I'm holding that off. Everyone has told me, not everyone, a few people in chat have told me, save it for your last fight to finish the pledge on because it's a very epic fight. So I'm like, okay, we'll do that. Through all these grinds, I finally got all of my materials I needed to finally upgrade my Steve Charge Blade to the max. So I had one more upgrade that I needed. Now my attack power has been increased by 10%. I also unlocked the ability to hone, which is a new mechanic in Super Endgame, where you can actually upgrade your weapon. If they're maxed out, you can upgrade them one more time with either a boost to attack, which I estimate is about a 10% boost to attack, a defense buff, which gives you 60 raw defense plus Divine Blessing, or a life buff, which you get to heal your life when you attack. Right now, I'm really torn. My chat is saying, go the defense route. And I was like, I don't need that. I have Divine Blessing already on my armor. I can eat for Divine Blessing. They stack. And people are like, yeah, but this defense buff gives you a 3rd Divine Blessing, which stacks even more. I'm like, that seems excessive. It just seems excessive. So I don't know if the attack is worth it because it's 10% buff. And then there's the life upgrade, which I don't know if I attack enough. I don't know how much health you heal through the attacks. So I don't know if I would actually make use of it. Do I attack enough to actually heal a respectable amount of health? I wish I could measure that and test that, and I'll probably look at some videos to make a decision. One of my problems in my fights is I consume way too many potions. So if I can minimize my potion consumption through this, that would be the way to go. And I had to finish a Daren G rank in Village to unlock the honing stuff. And that thing was hard. I never realized the G rank whale was hard because you're on your own. You can't bring friends to that one. And he, when he would shoot things onto the boat, which locked me from my own artillery, I didn't know that I could place a bomb there. So at one point when the Dragonator, it was time for the Dragonator, he blew a chunk on it. And so I couldn't use it, and I'm banging my massive axe on this stump trying to break it. It finally breaks, but then the whale hits the boat, and I miss my Dragonator moment. That said, I made it to phase 2. I did get my Dragonator out. It triggered proof of a hero. I'm like, this feels so good. And I finished him with the best hit. I didn't even know you could do this in phase 2. But if you hit him a certain way, you can actually climb on his back. And I'm hitting his blowhole, and I got a Saeed right down the blowhole, and that that made him blow. like explode. That killed him. It was very satisfying to hit him in his like weakest point, and that's how I killed him. So going back to all the hard stuff I was doing and that we were all failing to, like everyone was bringing, like I said, Naked and Afraid was one of them with an Apex for Jang. People were bringing guild quests at level 140, which is the highest quest you can get, of Shagru Magala. We had a Raging Brachydios, which that thing was disgusting. I took on a Shah Delamager, which is like a variant of Delamager, which is the same thing. It's the same fight. He just has harder skin, which means more annoying. I also learned that that's a scroll I have to do later, and so is Raging Brachy. So we're going to see those boys again as I unlock my scrolls. And then finally, in the events, there are 2 Crimson Fatalis quests. I figured let's try one. For whatever reason, I ended up with just one teammate. For some reason, everyone else like either backed out, couldn't connect, or just joined multiplayer. So I went out with one of our community leaders in 4U. His name is Boomwolf in the game, in Discord and Twitch. He goes as Yanga. Shout out to Yanga. He has been so amazing to support the community. Like, if you need help grinding anything in 4U before the servers, I'm going to volunteer him right now because he's been in the Discord for the last few months offering help, helping people get equipment, helping people learn fights, helping me. And so he's like, I want to do a Fatalis fight with you. So we went one-on-one with Crimson Fatalis. And he's got this amazing set. I think it's a Star Knight set. He's constantly mounting monsters. So he has an Insect Glaive, first of all. And like literally every 2 to 3 minutes, he's mounting a monster. I don't know how it's done, but it creates a lot of openings and makes fights go by so fast. So we go on, Crimson Fatalis, get the epic cutscene, you get the epic music. And I'm just like, oh, everything is so red and on fire. This is nothing like the Crimson Fatalis I fought earlier in the game and at high rank, the baby one. I don't know if I would have been able to do this one alone, honestly, because he hits really hard. Everything's always on fire. I absolutely hate the arena because the arena is like sinks down. Sometimes it's on lava. There's like lava things just come out of the ground. His feet are on fire. If you get too close to Fatalis' feet, which is where you need to be if you're a melee user, you're going to be on fire. Just everything is on fire. The arena sucks. The music is so intense, it raises your stress level. And overall, though, we did it in 12 minutes. So it went pretty good with Yanga. If I did that myself, it would have been 40 minutes of pain, lots of sweat, probably would have carded 3 times. I think in this case, I carded once when pretty much he was flying or he ran towards me. I always get trampled by these big monsters, and it always does a ton of damage, which, to be fair, these monsters are heavy, so it would hurt to be trampled by them. So that's where I am right now. Black Fatalis is off the menu. I've done every Black Fatalis quest. There are 2 Crimson Fatalis quests off the menu. I've done those, the egg quest and the one in event here. And then there's another like Super Crimson or something. And then there's Endgame Crimson. So we got those 2 Fatalis and then the White Fatalis. So I got 3 to do. And then I can finally say pledge complete. And we can go on a little Final Fantasy XIV vacation for a few months before I come back and pledge something in GU, whatever that will be. So stay tuned for all of that. We're almost there. Maybe one more journal. We will see. I'll see you on the next journal or on the stream. And until next time, keep it classy.